Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. Liftoff.
Hello. What is up, guys? Hunter Klein bringing you this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys, episode number 66, I believe. First things first, my phone is gone. All right, my phone is broken. If I wasn't already disconnected enough, we have completely wiped out any chance of me opening my phone and mindlessly scrolling through social media apps. Now, of course, that comes with the consequences of not being able to text or call anyone at all. All right. Now, normally, that wouldn't be much of an issue. I'm pretty much a disconnected guy. The chances of me answering your phone call when you do call me are very slim because I keep my phone distant most of the time. But the issue is, I'm getting ready to take everything I own and move across the country. All right. This is an absolutely terrible situation for this to happen, and I will not be getting a new phone before I move. So there it is. All right, it's a little bit of an issue. And the worst part about it all is that my phone is not fully broken. Okay, when I pull out my phone, I can feel it registering my fingerprint. I can feel it unlock with some vibration cues. I can feel it registering me clicking on apps. The only thing not there is the screen. All right, it's all black. Now, this is very interesting for me because I listen to a lot of music. I use specific songs for specific scenarios. I use it to get me ready for the gym. I use it to cool down from the gym. I use it for motivation or to get in the right zone when I'm studying, working. And that's pretty much the biggest problem that comes along with not having this phone right now. All right. I'm texting my mother over email, preparing for my move home, which is very, very interesting. But the real thing here is the disconnect. It's very interesting in hindsight to realize how much of my time I truly do spend listening to music with my earbuds in, using the Spotify app on my phone. So for the next couple of days, I'm going to be lifting in silence, going to be driving to the gym in silence, going to be spending a little more time in my own head, which is always a good thing. And I'm excited for that excuse. Obviously, along with this no phone issue, with this disconnected issue, the IP Monkeys Instagram account will be dormant until further notice, unfortunately. Okay. So don't expect any posts or updates there. I have no access to my Instagram account. And unfortunately, I am not able to post from Instagram on the web browser. Now, if you guys want to talk, or you have any suggestions, want to reach out about the podcast, just DM me at IP Monkeys on Instagram, and I can still read my DMs. But as far as posting, clips, sharing all that, we will not be able to do that until I get a new phone for the unforeseeable future. I suspect in a week or two, as soon as I get back or I get to Nebraska after my trip, I'll be able to hit a Verizon and update my phone. All right. Considering we are lacking an ability to brand the pod right now, to share the pod right now, if you are listening to this and you enjoy the show, I would really appreciate it if you maybe took a screenshot of the pod, right? Or shared the link on a social media. Give us a shout out. Right? Only if you enjoy it, of course. Don't false advertise a brand that you don't support. But if you're enjoying this show, give it a share. All right, give it a like, give it a review on iTunes and Spotify. That would really help me out right now, as I am not able to do the branding that I need to make me feel comfortable, make me feel like I am doing somewhat of my best. Okay, somewhat of my best. All right. All right. Glad we got that covered. I do feel shitty about not having the Instagram updated. I will be still making clips. And as soon as I get my Instagram back, you best believe I'm going to upload everything and make that Instagram account look beautiful again, because that's that's the standard we're trying to set ourselves to. All right. All right. No phone. Applications, guys. Applications. It's been a while since I've been here. The job application process, the art of boiling down your person to words that fit on a piece of paper. How do I sum my person up in a paragraph? What am I about? Why do I do what I do? Where are my intentions? It's like a forced self-introspection exercise that does have benefits, but it is very shitty. Okay. And I say it's very shitty because I believe I'm a person that does best in improv on the fly situations. If I can get past that piece of paper and just get in a room with some of these business owners, these organization owners, these sports coaches, I am confident that they will see the passion and want me on their team. The problem is getting through that first barrier. That first barrier being, how do I look on a piece of paper? Now, luckily, I've worked my ass off to make sure that I do look like an upstanding strength and conditioning coach on paper. It's just a little nerve-wracking. It's a little out of your control. Okay, there's not a lot you can do or say. And my biggest worry in the application process is that I'm not really portraying my true self. All right. When I write, I'm very scholarly. All right. To be quite honest with you, when I write, I'm very scholarly. Large words, intricate sentences. It's just how I've done things. Right? Years and years of scientific writing, having to be professional, submitting proposals, and I'm afraid that in the application process, as I'm writing all scholarly, that I come off as an uptight, traditional academic asshole, right? The well, actually guy. All right, we all know that guy. I'm afraid I'm coming off as that guy. But it's how far do you push it, right? I'd like to think that I'm a nice little marriage, a nice little balance between bro and intellect. But it's really hard to portray that in an application or in answering questions through text in a way that doesn't seem like I don't care about the job opportunity. And of course, I'm probably overthinking things. That's how we do it here. But it's what's going on in my head. But the application process is extremely beneficial. I mentioned earlier, there are some benefits to it. And that is, it really gets you to be simple and concise about what you want, who you are, and where you're going. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, the questions. How do I sum my person into a paragraph? A really interesting exercise that I think is beneficial for people not even outside the application process. Okay, really sitting down and focusing on, all right, what do I do? What am I good at? What's my philosophy? Okay, another question is, how do I boil down my goals and aspirations into a paragraph? Again, an extremely good exercise, something that we rarely do. I found myself originally being very floaty. You're not being able to grasp onto, I want so much. And the process of actually boiling things down, right? Simple questions like, how do you communicate with people? I got a question that was, how do you integrate subjective and objective information? One of the most interesting questions I've ever been asked. So, subjective information is opinion based, and objective information is factual. How do you integrate these two things when working with people or working in a field? Right. It's a very interesting question that takes a lot of work. So I don't expect you to maybe sit down and actually do this for yourself, but I'll walk through my personal opinion or my personal thought process for myself. Is that I think I tend to ground myself in objective information. And I know that's very I think that's very could come off as very egotistical, right? It's a lot similar to someone saying, well, everything I say is fact based. Okay. Everything I say is based on facts and research. I think it's very easy for people to say But I honestly think that's the truth for me, purely because I've spent the last 6 years living in the world of science, where you are not allowed to write things, make statements unless there are facts backing them. I've been held to that standard for 6 years, and I believe it bleeds over into almost all aspects of my life. So ultimately, how I answer this question: how do you integrate subjective and objective information in your life? I think I ended the statement with saying, you know, while I do have both subjective and objective thoughts and statements, I try to ground myself in objective information. I work very hard, do the research, study to make sure that I have a good foundation of objective information. And then if I need to make subjective information, make subjective statements, opinion based statements, I tend to, build them off of objective backbones. Now, I've probably lost all you. This is super, irrelevant and nerdy stuff. But it was an interesting question. Probably one of the most interesting questions I have ever personally received. I know that was my philosophy. What is your philosophy as a strength and conditioning coach? Very hard question to answer. And the last one, the last one that stood out to me at least, was how do you communicate with both English and non-English speakers effectively? And ultimately, I said simplification. I think the worst thing you can do when communicating with someone is to over communicate. Right? Too many people love to use big words. They love to hear themselves talk about intricate sentences and stuff. All right? Which is awesome. It makes you look smart, but I don't think it does the best job of communicating, getting the point across. So my answer was I start as simple as possible when explaining something. Make sure the basic foundation of understanding is there, and then I will proceed to increase complexity as needed until an adequate level of understanding has been made. Okay. Okay. That's literally exactly what I put. I can't believe I was able to say that. Fantastic. So the application process we're going through, we're making sure we look good on paper. I'm confident it's going well, guys. And overall, it's very hard for me to explain the feeling of freedom I have right now. Okay, last week I mentioned the possibilities. The possibilities are endless. I'm untethered. I don't have much of a community. All right, I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. There's really no limits for what's possible right now, but it's becoming very, very evident. A light is being shined on this emotion as I look for jobs. Okay, the freedom I feel. The feeling of being untethered is really indescribable and something that I am so, so thankful for right now. Something that makes the introverted lifestyle I've lived the last year and a half, 2 years, so worth it, guys. I know that may sound a little dangerous and a little weird, right? And it also might be justifying my unwillingness to go out and meet people. But god damn, I have no internal questioning of my decisions right now. For example, the ability, yes, last night, to look at a job location that is 50-50 split between Palm Beach, Florida and the Dominican Republic. The ability to look at that job that has external considerations. You may work overtime, you may work weekends, right? The ability to look at this job and without any hesitation say, I am 100% in, I could do this, is so damn beautiful, guys. So damn beautiful. These wacky, off the wall jobs that are an incredible opportunity. Spending 50% of the year in the Dominican Republic training with Houston Astros baseball prospects. There's no way that can't be absolutely beautiful. Spending the other half of the year in Palm Beach, Florida. It's incredible, guys. Obviously, the chances of me getting this specific position are not 100%, but this spans across the board, guys. This spans across the board. Now, I am somewhat limiting my job search to the southern United States just because of the weather. And I'm a man of the heat and sun now. Arizona has officially converted me. But it's a very interesting situation to be in. And I'm starting to really see the beauty and appreciate where I'm at in my life, regardless of the uncertainties, regardless of the issues with money and the comparative mindset that I see when I pull up in my totaled car next to some dude with a Mercedes in Scottsdale. Regardless of all that, guys, I am very, very thankful for where I'm at and where we're going right now. And I'm just overwhelmingly thankful. That's just the feeling I'm feeling right now. That is just the emotions that are flowing through me at this moment of time as I find my next path. All right. So who knows where we're gonna go, guys? I've sent out 2 applications, one for Tempe, Arizona at for the LA Angels, MLB organization, and for the Houston Astros MLB organization. I'm mainly focusing on strength and conditioning coach positions, and right now there's a lot of baseball positions open. Considering I played collegiate baseball, this is pretty up my alley. Being a previous collegiate baseball player with a certified strength and conditioning title on me, with a bunch of other certifications and a master's degree, it looks fucking good. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Things are looking good. We just got to wait to see what happens. Obviously, during the application process for a job, for a school, there are so many other factors other than are you good enough? Okay. I think that is a very, very important aspect to understand. All right. I learned this when I was applying for graduate schools, and I'm definitely learning this right now as I apply for jobs. Okay. It's so easy for you to get declined for a school, for a position, and think, holy shit, I'm not good enough, and get beat up. But I think it's important to understand those moments that there are so many moving pieces. Okay. Do they have the money for you specifically? All right. Is the point at which you are ready to work good enough for them? Okay. Do you have one specific odd experience that sets you apart from the other people applying? It's not even necessarily a show of your skill, right? Did you play college baseball? Right? Does that give you a little extra leg? Am I going to get counted out from this opportunity just because I didn't play college baseball and this guy did? Right? There's so many. I mean, this list goes on. There's so many little factors that determine whether or not an opportunity is right. And this goes far, far more deep than just are you good enough? Do you have the basic skills? And this is 100% and even more specifically the case for just that initial application process. Right? Of course, they're going to miss a lot of the beautiful things about your person when they're just looking at a paper version of you. Okay. So it's somewhat of an unforgiving process, especially when you don't know people, you don't have connections in a field, and you're really just trying to find your way and go forward. But it's a goddamn beautiful time, family. It's a goddamn beautiful time. You guys can probably notice if you guys are watching on video that this place is barren. Okay. My bed is on the floor. My alarm clock is on the floor. I have taken my curtains down and now I just have those classic apartment shades. Right? You know those shades that are like one piece of white like ceramic that hangs down. It just feels weird. I feel like I'm at a hotel right now. And my entire living room is just stacked with my clothes and everything all ready to go to be packed into a vehicle. And it's only right that the last thing standing in my room is my computer setup. And this will be the last thing that gets taken down because I need to teach some classes this week. And of course, we got to record the podcast. All right. Recently, guys, I've had a little more free time on my hands. Celebration time, if you will, after we have completed the CSCS exam. Okay. I believe it's deserved. I think we need to relax, apply for jobs when we can, and spend a little downtime before we dive into a 9 to 5. And as a result, I've been exploring some Netflix TV shows that I would have not previously been interested in. One of which is the Formula One Drive to Survive. Until last week, would probably talk shit on Formula One as a sport. Okay, no interest. Don't care about racing in my ever. I've probably never, maybe ridden a go kart once. Didn't really have a lot of joy in it. Would never consider myself as someone who aspires to be a driver. But holy hell, is this show unbelievable? It's crazy. It's crazy the intricacy of the sport, all the way from the engineering, how important the engineers are, to the drivers, to how they race, racing strategy, the process of how these races work, how much money is in them. F1, there is a lot of fucking money in them. It's huge. It's not that big in the United States, but everywhere else, it seems to be pretty big. It's unbelievable. It's intricate. There's drama. It's so good for a TV show. It's so good for a TV show. And yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I only watched season 3 because, well, I'm not that interested. But it was beautiful. All right. And here is my hot take for F1. And I think this is relevant to everyone because we're all probably relatively familiar with the man by the name of Lewis Hamilton. Now, this take is dangerous. I'm going into dangerous territory, and I'm probably wrong. But after 8 or so hours of F1 watching, here is my take. F1 drivers, like Lewis Hamilton, get way too much credit. Get way too much credit. Of course, they are the people in the spotlight, right? They're the people in the spotlight. They're the dude that steps out of the car and puts their hands in the air and gets that trophy. Of course, it makes somewhat sense. Right? It makes somewhat sense, right? Lewis Hamilton is a very charismatic individual, and I don't want to take away from the fact that he's a fantastic driver, I'm sure. All right? But I don't think people understand how important the engineering of these F1 cars is, guys. Okay? Some of these teams, some of these cars are just awful. There is no way that if Lewis Hamilton got in the pit of let's say, for example, a Haas F1 Formula car, there is no way he would win a race. I almost guarantee that. And to further exemplify my point that the engineers don't get enough credit, and they are the most important part of an F1 team's success, Lewis Hamilton was not able to race in an F1 race because he had COVID. So what Mercedes did, Lewis Hamilton races for Mercedes. What Mercedes did is they loaned a driver from a different team. They loaned a driver from a shitty team that you have probably never heard about. That's not even really mentioned on the TV show because they rarely finish above 10th place. This driver that rarely finishes above 10th place proceeded to get into a Mercedes F1 car and finish second without a doubt. My point here is that Mercedes vehicles are superior, okay? Yeah, Lewis Hamilton's probably a great driver, but his engineers are better, okay? Mercedes has been champions of F1 for, I think, 7 straight years now, and Lewis Hamilton is one of their probably their better driver, so he takes the face of that. But it's so odd how F1 works and how so much credit is just given to these drivers when the real magic is in the engineering and the scientists behind it. Okay. Again, I bet damn near any F1 driver could get into one of those Mercedes F1 vehicles and smoke the competition. Okay. Because that is just how superior Mercedes is. Now, when it comes to retail vehicles, I'm generally a big BMW guy. All right. I think the M4 is goddamn beautiful, guys. The M4 competition, if I ever run into some, or here in the next 5-10 years, if I run into some good money, I'm buying a BMW M4 competition. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. But my passion and admiration for BMW has dwindled since seeing how superior Mercedes is at building a racing vehicle. They are the best in the world. They're the best in the world right now. Their engineers are insane. Their AMG technology is nuts. All right. And I don't think they get enough credit. I absolutely don't think they'll get enough credit. Guys, if you spend a lot of time on Netflix, are lacking a show that gets you excited, that gets you eager to wake up and watch your TV show again, I would highly suggest watching Formula One Drive to Survive. It's very interesting. Again, I had no interest in F1 driving before, no interest in racing. And it's a lot more interesting than something like NASCAR, in my opinion. There's wrecks. These dudes are flying at like 215 miles per hour around corners. Their cars are like busting, blowing up. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts, guys. All right. All right. As far as news, guys, there is nothing interesting going on in the world right now from my lens, from my perspective. I'm just trying to focus up, right? My phone's dead. I'm applying for jobs. I'm just trying to figure out where my life's going. Trying to stay on track, trying to stay positive, trying to make sure I work on myself, trying to make sure I'm lifting, working out, looking good. And yeah, it's only the beginning, family. It's only the beginning. I think that taking leaps are important, guys. I think that taking chances, taking leaps, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is really the magic of where life is. And I'm really, really, really feeling it right now. I'm really, really feeling it right now. A lot of people get comfortable with their friend group and their family visiting home every weekend. And I think that's beautiful. And if you like that simplicity, fantastic. But there's a lot more of life out there in the unknown, the uncertainty, and the uncomfortable. Okay. Because that's when you grow. That's when you slingshot it. With that difficulty, with that loneliness that comes with coming to a new location, with that uncertainty of even going to find a fucking grocery store, comes insane amounts of growth and independence, guys. And I am so, so excited to take another leap someplace I've never been before and start from scratch again. Start from scratch again. Who do I want to be this time, guys? Who do I want to be this time? What do I want to be my shining characteristics? What am I going to focus on with the Hunter Kleinschmidt 3.0? Okay. It's crazy. It's crazy, and I think it's extremely important. If I had to be honest with you guys, I hope to God that I get this position in Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, Florida, because holy hell, that would be beautiful. That'd be absolutely beautiful. And the fact that I'd be able to travel back and forth between Palm Beach, Florida, and the Dominican Republic, working with athletes, training, having constant access to a gym that I can make sure that I'm personally developing in. Pfft, come on, family. Come on, family. Get yourself up. Take care of yourself. And the ultimate goal is to just look at yourself in the morning every morning and say, hell yeah, I'm getting better. I'm doing my bestish. And we're doing well. We're doing well, guys. If you want to call in, get involved with the podcast, the hotline is 602-892-4371. I will not answer the phone. It will go to a voicemail, but I will play back that voicemail on the podcast and react to it in real time. Again, that phone number is 602-892-4371. That is the IP Monkeys hotline. Call in, get involved. Tell me where you're from. Tell me why you listen. Tell me what you like to do. It doesn't really matter what you guys want to talk about. Let's just get it going. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, I'm living in a hotel. We're about ready to move out. Things are interesting, family. The next time you hear from me, I will be in Nebraska in a new room with a new setup, living out in the cornfield in the middle of nowhere, relaxing, chilling. And yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about next week as we get established, as we go on. I will say this, guys, the podcast is going to be in a little funky groove. It's been in a little funky groove the last month or two. Let's be completely honest. Right? And the reason the podcast has been in a funky groove is because I am in a funky groove. Okay? One of the implications of me by law releasing an episode every week of my life is that you're going to be on this ride with me if you tune in. All right? If a week is not for you, if a week is not as interesting as past, I am sorry. All right? I am not a content machine that can 100% produce amazing, thoughtful, introspective content every week. Okay? But you can always tune in a couple weeks, in a couple months. All right? This is an ever-growing project. I'm going to go through ups and downs. And it's been a weird time for me. I've had to focus intensely on my career, on my passions, getting my life together, getting ready for this move, making sure I'm making the right decisions. It's not as lackadaisical, all right? As a result, I'm not really chilling out as much. And as a result, I'm not thinking as much about my person, how weird the world is, so on and so forth. That time will come, okay? Again, this podcast is being filtered through my perspective on a weekly basis. information of the world, news stories, weird human quirks are constantly being filtered through my perspective, and my perspective is changing. Right, and my mood is not stable, and I'm human just like the rest of you guys. Ups, downs, mids, highs, lows. All right, and that's where we're at. Okay, so again, if you are not enjoying certain episodes, if they're stale, I am sorry, but you can always tune in a couple months when I'm established, potentially down in Palm Beach, Florida, when I'm established in Washington, working, going out to clubs, whatever. And I have a little more to talk about. Okay, guys. All right. If you're still listening, I love you very, very, very much. Thank you for supporting this project. This is one of the anchors of my life, something that I care about most dearly in my life. It is absolutely beautiful that you guys are interested, you enjoy, and God, I hope you guys get something out of this. All right. All right. Keep working on yourself, develop yourself. Don't be stagnant. Don't give up. If you're on a high, enjoy it. Take advantage of it. If you're on a low, battle through family. You know the deal. That's it for this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys. This is Hunter Klein, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace, peace.